G'day and welcome to Redriven. Now, I love hot hatches. I love the idea of a practical little hatchback that has a bit of a naughty side to it. Actually, some of the best driving experiences I've ever had have been in hot hatches on like remote mountain roads. And what makes them even better is that because they're generally based on kind of humble consumer level hatchback platforms, they're not all that expensive to buy, and there are some absolute bargains out there. If you want maximum bang for your buck while still having a practical everyday car, these are the top 5 that you should be hunting for. Now, a huge attraction to the Audi RS3 is its awesome sounding 5-cylinder engine. But you don't have to part with the north of $80,000 price tag to get some glorious 5-cylinder turbocharged burble in your life, thanks to the Ford Focus ST, or as it's called here, the XR5. From as little as $9,000 here in Australia, you can land yourself in a second generation 2007 pre-facelift XR5/ST. And look, for $9,000, this thing is so much car for the money. Okay, sensible stuff first. You're getting a practical 5-door hatchback with great levels of safety, a decent sized boot, and room for you and 3, possibly 4 of your mates. Now the fun stuff. As mentioned, this thing is powered by a turbocharged 2.5 litre 5-cylinder engine, pumping out a very respectable 166 kilowatts and 320 newton meters of torque, and that's through the front wheels, which many refer to as wrong wheel drive, but guys, trust us, these things are so much fun to drive. Now, we have to throw an honourable mention in here because for around about the same sort of money, you can have nearly the exact same car, although it's very, very different. It's the Volvo C30 T5R design. See, the C30 and the Focus share the same platform, the same engine, the same suspension, and loads more. Although, unlike the XR5/ST Focus, the majority of C30 T5s out there will have an automatic gearbox, and thanks to Volvo creating the C30 as more of a coupe than a true hatchback, the Volvo's 3-door only body and lower rear styling cannot match the Ford for practicality. Also, look, both the Focus and the C30, they aren't without their mechanical or electrical gremlins, so if you are in the market, make sure the car that you're looking at has a full and thorough service history, and try to find one that hasn't had a hard life. Now, we will be doing a full review video of the Focus ST/XR5 and the C30 Volvo, but this is actually something that you might be able to help us out with. If you own one of those cars and you're happy for us to review it, can you please let us know in the comments or go and message us over on Instagram. Okay, this next one will most likely upset many of our American viewers because these things are pretty much non-existent stateside. It's the Renault, actually it's really any Renault Sport model because they're all pretty amazing. From the vast range of various Clio RS models to Megane Sport variants, Renault know how to make a brilliant performing hot hatch. When talking budget options, in terms of the Clio, you're going to be looking at spending around about $10,000 to get behind the wheel of, say, a 2003 Clio Sport, a 2008 Sport 197, or even a 2014 RS200. But you're going to need to double that budget to jump into the more critically acclaimed models like the 200 Cup Trophy. In terms of the larger and more practical Megane, look, again, $10,000 will get you into a 2004 to 2007 Sport 225, $15,000 will land you in a 3rd gen RS250 Cup Trophy or maybe a 265 Cup, and $20,000 will open up the possibilities of owning the really serious stuff, like the 265 Trophy 808, facelifted 275 Premium, or even a limited 265 Red Bull RB8 edition. Look, no matter which hot Renault you're looking at, they are all brilliant driver's cars. But the higher up the food chain you go, generally speaking, the better the overall experience. Although, look, I've been fortunate enough to have owned a couple of Megane RS models, and while they were both awesome to drive, both cost me an absolute fortune in repairs. Look, maybe it's because of our Australian conditions, but fast French hatchbacks do come with a pretty massive reliability warning, and look, we'll get into that in more detail when we finally get around to reviewing one. Okay, look, this next car generally isn't regarded as a hot hatch as such, but we think you'll agree with our justification. Here in Australia, it's the Mazda 323 SP20. Elsewhere, it's also called the Mazda Speed Protege or the Mazda Familia. When thinking hot hatch, very rarely does anyone's mind instantly go to this humble little Mazda. And look, yes, in the US, the Mazda Speed Protege is a sedan and not a hatch, but that's just a technicality because everywhere else in the world, this is a hatchback. But is it worthy of the list? Well, all the ingredients are there. Small and practical body, sorted dynamic handling, and a punchy power plant make for the Mazda not only being a great budget hot hatch, but just immensely underrated in general. Okay, we know the 98 kilowatt and 174 Newton meter naturally aspirated 2-litre 4-cylinder may sound gutless in terms terms of the numbers, but remember, this generation of 323 are small and light, and with a great chassis setup, they're just so much fun to drive. But where the Mazda really proves its worth is when it comes to the price. Here in Australia, you can pick up a pretty good condition SP20 for as little as $3,000, with the low mileage, brilliant condition examples topping out at only $7,000. Plus, being a Mazda, reliability and build quality should be excellent, so not only are these great to drive, they should last, which is something neither of my Renaults did. Now, when you think hot hatch, you generally think front wheel or maybe all-wheel drive, yeah? Well, this one sends its power through the rear wheels. Now, apologies again to our US viewers because, sorry, but you guys missed out on this awesome hatch. Powered by a glorious, naturally aspirated 3-litre straight six, pumping out 195 kilowatts and 315 newton meters, the interesting looking hot hatch makes for a hell of a driver's car. Actually, we've reviewed the even faster 135i Coupe, but loads of those impressions also relate to the 130 hatch. The link to that video is just up there. In terms of practicality, the 130i won't provide the same levels of rear passenger or boot space as many of its rivals, but no other hatch drives like the BMW. Dynamics-wise, the 130i has a brilliant front end, balanced out by a rear-wheel drive platform that loves to play. But where the 130i really attracts is with its price. Here in Australia, 12 to about 20 grand will get you behind the thick-rimmed steering wheel on a full-time basis. But you may want to keep some cash aside for some mechanical gremlins. We go over this more in the review video and in even more detail on our cheat sheets on redriven.com. But while there's no doubt these are awesome driver's cars, they're interesting in terms of reliability. Now guys, if you are enjoying this video, can I ask a favor? Can you please hit those like, subscribe and bell icon buttons, and after the video, go and check us out on the socials. Finally, and look, again like the Mazda, look, yes, there are hotter hatches out there, but for the money, not only with what they cost to buy, but what they cost to maintain, even if you abuse them, it's the Toyota Corolla Sportivo, or the Run XZ Aero, or the TRD, or the T-Sport, or the XRS. These things come under a whole bunch of different names. Basically, it's a Corolla with the 2ZZ-GE engine. Again, like the Mazda, the numbers won't set the world on fire, unless you manage to find yourself one of the supercharged examples. But even in saying that, even in naturally aspirated form, the Corolla will very nearly match the Focus ST/XR5 in terms of its power to weight ratio. But in this list, we've only just touched on an aspect of what makes a truly great hot hatch genuinely appealing, and that's reliability. See, it's great to have a practical hatchback that will blow you away with its dynamic abilities, but, and look guys, I know this from experience, it's near impossible to experience the cornering ability and warp speed acceleration and nuance of chassis balance if it leaves you stranded on the side of the road on a regular basis. And this is where the Corolla wins. Look, don't get us wrong, these aren't perfect, but no surprise with it being a Toyota, they're proving to be bulletproof in terms of reliability and longevity. I actually have a friend that owns one of these, it's his daily driver, and he hammers it around racetracks at track days at every possible opportunity. And short of regular maintenance and replacing consumables like brake pads, he's never had a mechanical drama with the Corolla. I know he's going to watch this, so I shouldn't say that he abuses that car, but he abuses that car. Price-wise, the Corolla gets even more appealing. Here in Australia, you're going to be looking at $6,000 to $10,000 for a Sportivo, although budget in for some replacement front seats because for a hot hatch, these seats aren't all that supportive. Now, we should also mention that the Suzuki Swift Sport and the FN2 Honda Civic Type R, or actually really any fast Honda hatchback, are obvious additions to this list. But we featured those in our top 5 performance cars under $10,000 video. The link for that video is just up there, so we felt that we should give some other worthy hot hatches a mention rather than just, repeating ourselves again. Anyway guys, what did you think of the list? Let us know in the comments below, and remember, can you please do us that favor and hit those like, subscribe and bell icon buttons, and go and check us out on the socials after the video. See you next time. Bear with me, mate, this is going to be a challenge. Okay, this next one, it's not generally... Told you, hatch black platform, hatch black. Because they're generally based on quite... If you want maximum bang... Now, we will be doing a full f***ing hell, mate. For the money, not only with what these cost, these. So I definitely shouldn't say, Sean Connery's back again. There are hot. And we'll go into that in more detail when we finally get around to reviewing one of these things. Nodding like crazy. It's the BMW 130i. That's annoying.